Folks, before we talk politics, let's look at the map. Because while America is staring at Iran, while Washington is arguing over war powers, ceasefires, the Strait of Hormuz, oil tankers, drones, missiles, and whether President Trump is going to restart his kinetic campaign, China is not sitting still. And what you're looking at right here is a satellite feed, a satellite image of a Chinese ballistic missile submarine, and you can see their missile muzzle hatches open. This is along the Salong Peninsula, where the Chinese Navy, one of their many submarine bases, and you can see a couple of other submarines parked here on their pier as well. They're just parked there doing what the Chinese does, right? And that's infiltrate American technology. That is steal American technology. And the one thing on this map that you're not going to see is this new Chinese submarine that they have. They call this the Zhonggan, and I'm sure I got this name wrong, but there are new satellite images coming in right now of probably one of the most advanced and most dangerous threats to the United States Navy. And this was caught on satellite imagery just a few days ago. This is their newest nuclear fast attack submarines. And it could be China's answer to the high-speed interceptor boat. Now, we know the United States Navy has one of the greatest, if not the greatest, submarine forces and the United States and naval forces. But the Chinese are using the distraction in Iran, using this conflict to get ahead. China's watching, and I don't mean just watching the headlines. I mean they're watching America's political will. They're watching our naval deployments. They're watching our arguments in Congress. They're watching the Senate and the members of Congress defund or remove the ability from the United States Navy to stay ahead with technology. They're watching how long it takes Washington to get tired. They're watching how quickly Congress starts looking for an exit ramp. They're watching whether the United States still has the stomach to sustain pressure when the fight gets messy and politically inconvenient. That matters because Iran's strategy right now is not to defeat the United States. Iran cannot beat the U.S. Navy, the Air Force, the military, the straight up fight. Their strategy is to outlast Washington politically. And here's the dangerous part. China may be learning from that exact same playbook, because if Iran can tie down American attention in the Middle East, pressure the Strait of Hormuz, the missiles and drones, threaten our energy markets, and force Washington into this domestic political argument, then what does Beijing see? I think they see distraction, they see weakness, and they see America confused with ourselves. Now I'm going to go through this article. This was from the War Zone, and they've got some great satellite image that they've sourced here from Vantor. Here's another image. And the one thing that I'm going to point out here very quickly is there's something very unique about this Chinese submarine that caught me off guard. It really alerted the senses of a submariner. There's one thing about this that no submarine in the United States Navy has the capability of. And you can see all of this stuff is publicly sourced satellite imagery. Here's another image here. It's about 120 meters long. We don't have any capabilities right now. We don't know speed, depth, range. All we know, or all we're assuming, is that it is a nuclear-powered submarine. It's the most convenient. This is a Type 095 class submarine. This is not the submarine that was pictured in the satellite image, but this is one of their recent builds. Now, the one thing you'll notice here is the rudder. This is a typical rudder, typical stern planes layout. And you've got bow planes here. That's very typical. You'll notice there in the middle of the submarine, they're what we call a sail. And the sail is what houses masts, antennas, and periscopes. Now, this new submarine, the Zhonggan, it doesn't appear to have these masts and antennas. It doesn't appear to have the things that would normally key satellite imagery whenever it goes to periscope depth. It wouldn't key other submarines or other warships with surface search radar to pick up on this. This thing can probably operate, looking at what I'm seeing, very, very stealthily. This, I'll show you what I mean here. So when a submarine comes to periscope depth, this is what sticks up. You've got a couple of periscopes. You've probably got a navsat antenna. You've got another multifunction mast, and that's where they download a lot of traffic. They will pick up, visual search and aids there. But if this submarine doesn't have that, it tells me that they might not need to go to the surface. And this is whenever a submarine is the most vulnerable, is whenever it's at the surface looking. It comes up, there is a point of blindness where sonar is a little bit colluded, or it's not as effective because of the wash and the waves. It blinds the submarine for just a few seconds, maybe a minute at the most, until the submarine comes to the surface and you get this mast and antenna up. The officer of the deck does a clean sweep or a safety search with the antenna, with the periscope, and then they get to normal business. But if this submarine doesn't need to go to the surface, if they don't need to become vulnerable, then that's a real problem for the United States. That's a real problem for anyone going up against this submarine. And you can see here this top image. That is the layout, or this is what we're assuming by the satellite imagery, is that it is a sailless submarine. I don't see bow planes. All I see is some stern planes, a rudder, a shrouded screw, which will make it very quiet. We may or may not have similar technology to that. This submarine's about 120 meters long, so we're talking 400, 450 feet. You can quote me on that. I'm not a metric guy, but if the Chinese have developed this new technology with this sail-free mystery submarine, I will call it a ghost submarine, then we should really be more focused on what I would say is a threat to the future and the future of our technology. The Chinese are very good at stealing our technology. They are very good at influencing other navies. I'll say North Korea. I will say Russia. Now, one of the real advantages of having a sail, and this is an image of the USS Santa Fe, Los Angeles class submarine that broke through the ice there at the North Pole. You can see that, well, you might not know this, and most of you probably don't. The LA class submarines had a hardened sail so that it could break through the ice. It can break through the ice pretty thick, 10, 12, 15 feet thick. But without a sail, like this Chinese submarine may very well not have, and here's another image, it tells me that the Chinese can operate under the ice with no need to go to the surface. That in itself is inherently dangerous. It tells me that that Chinese submarine doesn't need to go to the surface. And here is a model, a rendition of the model. Let me grab some coffee here. Rendition of this model of this submarine. And that is This is going to make this submarine extremely stealthy because any appendages that are protruding outside of the submarine cause what we call cavitation. Cavitation is whenever an object is moving through the water, it causes a disruption in the water, which will in turn cause some bubbles, cause some air bubbles. And that's cavitation. The less cavitation a submarine has, the more stealthy it is, the less detectable it is. And this is going to allow this new submarine to have some capabilities that we've not been familiar with. This is another demonstrator submarine in Idaho. This is an image where we have tested and trying to come up with better technology to combat the Chinese. And I want you to see this. This is probably the best layout right now, where it is a ballistic missile submarine. You can see the missile muzzle hatches here. You can see towards the back of the submarine, this is probably a submersible where those hatches open and they can swim out a submersible. But with no sail, this thing could be virtually untrackable. This is more satellite imagery here. You can see the tugs moving it into place. Looks like they're moving it into a dry dock, a floating dry dock. Anyone that is in or around the United States Navy is going to be worried by this. I'm not saying I'm scared of the Chinese Navy. I am not scared of their capabilities. But what I really worry about is, who are they selling this to? Who are they giving this technology to? More importantly, who did they steal the technology from? As many of you know, we have a lot of Chinese nationals here in our country that, aren't always the most patriotic, not the most American. There's reports just a couple of days ago, a Iranian businessman in California was just indicted, arrested by the FBI because he was sending information and selling technology to Iran. And it brings us back to this core conflict right now in Iran. While we are distracted with this is what's happening. And no one's watching it. No one's talking about this. This is that satellite image again. I'll bring it back to you here. The Salong Peninsula. There are multiple Chinese submarine bases. And this is one that Google Earth caught some very timely photos of. Now, I want you to look at how many piers they have here. There are 6 fingers to this pier. You could park a submarine on either side. That'd be 12. Right now, there are 4 there. You can see 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Looks like there might be a couple of warships parked over here. Looks like they're Navy. They had a field so they can train their Chinese soldiers. They've got some tennis courts there. So the Chinese is a very technologically advanced military. They're all about fitness. Look at all the tracks. Look at all the pools. Look at all these warships lined up. This is not because they are our friends. This is not because they trust us. This is because the Chinese are preparing for something bigger. They make plans 100 years down the road. We don't. We can barely plan 2 weeks down the road. And part of our biggest problem is the members of Congress that we have. Our own government. That's part of our problem. And that at the top there is our newest problem. A sailless submarine just launched last month. But no, let's all stay distracted by what's happening in Iran. Iran is very important. I don't disagree with that one bit. But while all of this is happening in Iran, this large mystery submarine, sleek hull, unusual design, and what appears to be no traditional sail, that's new. And I'm not saying this submarine means China is about to invade tomorrow. That would be reckless. But I'm saying this, China is using this era of chaos to build the navy it wants for the next war. That's where the Iran conflict and the Chinese submarine connect. Iran is testing America's willingness to stay in a fight. China is testing America's ability to prepare for the next one. Our enemies are always trying to exhaust us in the Middle East. The other is building the tools to challenge us in the Pacific. And if you're sitting in Beijing, this is the perfect moment to study the United States. How many ships can America keep deployed, forward deployed? How fast can the Navy surge? How much ammunition can we burn before resupply becomes a problem? How quickly does Congress start pushing back? How can we sow a little dissension? How fast does public opinion turn against the president? How distracted does the White House become when oil prices, shipping lanes, domestic policies all collide? That's the lesson China is watching, because the Chinese Communist Party does not have to fight us today to benefit from Iran's pressure campaign. They can sit back and watch, build, measure, and prepare. And when the time comes, they will already know which pressure points worked. That is why this ghost sub matters. This is not just one strange submarine at a Chinese shipyard. This is a warning sign that while America's dealing with Iran, China is preparing for the Pacific fight that may define the next generation of naval warfare. Iran's the distraction. China's the destination. I want us to keep our eyes on what's going on in Iran. Extremely important for the Middle East. Extremely important for our safety here in the United States. We do not want Iran with a nuclear weapon. But we need to be aware of what China is doing, what they're experimenting with, what they have planned 10, 20, 50, 100 years down the road. That's how the Chinese operate. The Americans, we get a little impatient when DoorDash is 10 minutes late, right? Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Smash a like and subscribe button. Stay tuned.
Chief of the watch on the 1MC, pass the word. Dive, dive, sound 2 blasts of dive alarm, pass the word, dive, dive.
Dive, dive. Dive, dive.
Here we go again!
Here we go again!
Same old song again!
Same old song again!
Marching down the avenue!
Marching down the avenue!
We don't know when we'll be through!
We don't know when we'll be through!
A long, long time ago!
Long, long time ago!
Heard it on the radio!
Heard it on the radio!
Sounds so good to me!
Sounds so good to me!
U.S. Navy submarine!
U.S. Navy submarine!
Recruiter just inside here!
Recruiter just inside here!
Turns out I gave them 5 years!
Turns out I gave them 5 years!
Had to get out of boot camp!
Had to get out of boot camp!
They won't like the smoking lamp!
They won't like the smoking lamp!
Now I'm a submariner!
Now I'm a submariner!
Rolling in the deep, sir!
Rolling in the deep, sir!
Top secret mission, hush, hush!
Secret mission, hush, hush!
No one's gonna find us!
No one's gonna find us!
6 months below the ocean!
6 months below the ocean!
Can't remember the sun!
Can't remember the sun!
Can't write my wife no letters!
Can't write my wife no letters!
And Tony's gonna get her!
Tony's gonna get her!
But I won't trade this life away!
I won't trade this life away!
Makes it worth the Navy pay!
Makes it worth the Navy pay!
I can't be a bobblehead!
I can't be a bobblehead!
Might as well just be dead!
Might as well just be dead!
Long, long time ago!
Long, long time ago!
Heard it on the radio!
Heard it on the radio!
Sounds so good to me!
Sounds so good to me!
U.S. Navy submarine!
U.S. Navy submarine!
Hey, Riley, 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 Riley! Hey, sailor!
Hey, sailor!
Where have you been?
Where have you been?
I've been to Coral Sea!
I've been to Coral Sea!
Fighting for liberty!
Fighting for liberty!
Fighting for freedom!
freedom.
Hey, sailor!
Hey, sailor,
Where have you been?
where have you been?
I've been to Korea,
I've been to Korea,
fighting for liberty,
fighting for liberty,
fighting for freedom.
fighting for freedom.
Hey, sailor!
Hey, sailor,
Where have you been?
where have you been?
I've been to Vietnam,
I've been to Vietnam,
fighting for liberty,
fighting for liberty,
fighting for freedom.
fighting for freedom.
Hey, sailor!
Hey, sailor,
Where have you been?
where have you been?
I've been to Desert Storm,
I've been to Desert Storm,
fighting for liberty,
fighting for liberty,
fighting for freedom.
fighting for freedom.
Hey, sailor!
Hey, sailor,
Where have you been?
where have you been?
I've been to Afghanistan,
I've been to Afghanistan,
fighting for liberty,
fighting for liberty,
fighting for freedom.
fighting for freedom.
Hey, sailor!
Hey, sailor,
Where have you been?
where have you been?
I've been to Iraq and back,
I've been to Iraq and back,
fighting for liberty,
fighting for liberty,
fighting for freedom.
fighting for freedom.
Hey, sailor!
Hey, sailor,
Where will you be?
where will you be?
I'll be where I have to be,
I'll be where I have to be,
fighting for liberty,
fighting for liberty,
fighting for freedom.
fighting for freedom.
Live, cry, live, free. Cry, live, free, live, cry, live, cry, live.
Okay, guys, gals, girls, this is Ben Dykes Show. Smash a like and subscribe on your way out the door. See you in the next one. Ben Dykes Show is out.
We could do boom shakalaka. We love the boom shakalaka, you know. Nobody booms and shakalakas as much as I do. I do it better than anybody. I invented it, believe it or not. A lot of people don't realize it.
Rock on, salute, God bless you. Bubbleheads forever.